Nkosi Talk Shows family, is Nomsa here at Nkosi Talk Shows. Find your own voice led from within. So our topic today, guys, is what men really want in a relationship. So let me switch off my phone. So in this insightful video, what men really want in a relationship, we're going to embark on a journey to uncover the mystery of the male psyche when it comes to romantic, and when it comes to romantic and connection and relationship can be complex, but understanding what men truly desire can pave the way for healthier, more fulfilling partnership. Men often have unique emotional needs and communication style that may differ from those of women. By delving into the core aspects of what men really seek in a relationship, you will gain a valuable insight that can strengthen your connection with the men in your life or help you navigate the dating world more effectively. So it's very, very important when we get into dating or when we are into a relationship to really understand what the other person, what's their desires, what they want. And so today, this video is going to explore various dimensions of men's desires. Like I said it before, we're going to include the emotional intimacy, physically affection, from trust to personal space. And every like when we go to every detail, um, I'm going to provide you guys with advice or life examples or or anything that can help you to actually understand what your men really want. And it's also important to understand that women and men, they think different, and understand their emotional needs. What do men really want when you enter a relationship? Understanding the landscape, emotional landscape of men is the first step towards building a deeper connection. If you really, really want to connect into a relationship, the first thing for a woman when you enter a relationship, you need to have a mindset of serving. Even a man, when you enter a relationship, you need to have a mindset of serving. When you enter a mindset of serving, a man is the queen. Sorry, a woman is the queen. A man is the king. So it's you surrendering and saying, how do I serve you, my king? In order for you to understand men really, really their needs, you have to surrender. When you surrender, it means what you know about relationship is no go is it cannot work with that man. So you have to surrender and try to get to know that man's emotional needs. And at the same time, they will try to surrender to you as well and get to know your emotional needs. So you both have to actually submit to each other and serve each other. So how do you serve each other? How do you serve your man? And how do you understand his emotions, his needs? When you actually understanding their needs is the foundation of a relationship, is the foundation of everything that comes with the relationship. There is a role of intimacy. Intimacy on its own, it cannot hold a relationship. So if you want to really understand, decode the male's mind. So how do I decode a male's mind? This is in the realm of relationship, every person, whatever their needs are actually, that's why I'm saying if you have dated a guy and you date somebody else, you cannot take what you've learned from that guy to this guy. Everything it becomes personal. So when you understand what the emotional complex of individual's needs, then you'll be able to actually treat your relationship with your man as unique. And it's a unique way to think and feel and communicate. So when you actually surrender to a guy and say, I want to save you, but I need you to communicate your needs to me. And the first thing is when you acknowledge their emotional complexes being, it means you it means you're building a trust with that person, emotionally intimacy, and that can involve trust, vulnerability. You understand their vulnerability, and empathetic as well. And there is a power of listening that comes with it. When you take time to connect with a man on an emotional level, it can lead to actually to your relationship with the foundation that can lead to fulfilling when you understand the desire of appreciation. A man needs to be appreciated. When a man feels appreciated, um, it makes them feel like they're on top of the world. And if they feel they are appreciated and they feel they are valued in their relationship, they will actually start, they see the effort, or you express your gratitude, offering compliment. It boosts their self-esteem and it strengthens their bond between the partnership in that relationship. So there are some people like they'll enter into dating. I know when we are in a relationship, sometimes life can be really, really tough. We live in this world where we go to work, life is very, very stressful. Or sometimes there's this thing where a woman, like you have children, a woman stays at home and the man goes to work. Or sometimes men stays at home and a woman goes to work. Whatever the decision or whatever, or just you are in a relationship and just in that foundation, if a man feels that, you know what, this girl that I'm dating, she appreciates me more. It's just the little things that we take for granted. There are things like thank you when somebody does things for you, you let them know that you appreciate it. Let them know that you are grateful. And let them know that they are, because for a man or for a woman to be in your life is a blessing. So when you let a man know that, you know what, I feel blessed to have you in my life. I feel blessed that every day I wake up with you. I feel blessed that every day you go to work and you come home safe. And I feel blessed that you chose me to date you. It's a blessing. But when we start dating, we start become boyfriend and girlfriend, we start becoming fiance and fiance, we become husband and wife. We forget the how to value each other. We forget the power of gratitude. We forget that life is a blessing. For us to be with that person is a blessing. And when you actually take time to actually appreciate somebody, men likes to feel appreciated. They don't like to be reminded the things they do wrong. Women, if you are dating somebody and you remind them every single day the things they do wrong. But if you remind them the things they do right, you will be surprised the things they do wrong, how they will go and correct themselves. If you remind somebody, you know what, you are this, you are this, you are this, you are this, all they're going to think about is they're not enough for you. Some people will compare their exes to their present partner. Many don't want that. So if you have dated somebody in the past, leave it in the past. When you enter a new relationship, it's all my king. How do I serve you as your woman? She will explain he will explain his needs. These are my needs. These are my values. These are my principles. And when a man does that, when a man tells you how you can serve him, and then as a woman as well. But today we're not talking about women, we talk about men. So as a woman as well, you know that you have to tell him the same as well. So you surrender and let them know this is your world. And many will explain his world. Honey, this is my world. Or sometimes they might tell you a little bit of the story from the past, what they have gone through, what has led them create the character that they have created, their uniqueness, their image, their authenticity. Many, if I can tell you guys, I am where I am today. This is not a joke or this is some kind of a story that I make up. I have never ever, I have had girlfriends when I was in Africa, but the friends that I had, it's like my family, church family, somebody that knows my family. But when it comes to, when I truly, truly say my friends were male friends. Many, they are not complicated. They are not like a complication life. If you have a friend, a man who is a friend, your life, it can take your life to the next level. For me, as a girl growing up, I never had emotional like breakdown like any other girls. Never had those kind of things because I never hang out with girls. When you hang out with girls, you compare your handbags, you compare your high heels, you compare your makeup, you compare the cars you drive, you compare your exams, you compare everything. But when you decide to make friends with men, they become, it's like these guys became my brothers. Whenever emotionally I didn't feel good, they would not make me like emotionally, they'll support me. But then there will be a time where they will tell me that, Nomsa, you need to suck it up. And the reality, this is the reality. They are straight to the point. If you really, really want to have a good relationship, get to know your men really, really well without judging, because some people, they will say, I know my husband or I know my men very well, but actually they never go deep and get to know their men, and by asking questions. Like, you know what? Get into their world, ask questions. What makes them like the things that they like? What makes them believe? If they like politics, what makes you like politics? What were the rules? If you show interest in somebody, if they are leaving socks on the floor, if they are leaving the toilet seat up, they'll put it down because you show interest in them. I don't play games, but my spouse plays games. When he comes and tells me about his games, guys, I have to sit there and listen. And 99% I haven't got a clue what he's talking about. But I have to show interest. When I'm showing interest, I'm showing interest. I'm not pretending, because the body language, if you pretend to be listening to a guy, and you are not really into that conversation, and they can see your body language. So when somebody tells you their story, or they go and play football and you're not into football, and they come back and they start telling you a story, you go to everything, you just stop and listen and just ask questions. So every time when he talks about this game, I can see his passion. He's really, really passionate about his game. So he will explain and explain. And I'm like, I don't have a clue what we're talking about. Can you show me what we're talking about? Or sometimes he's talking about his character in the game. So I have to ask questions. So what does this character, why do you choose this character? And then he would tell me the story behind it. And then he would start telling me, but I have not finished building it. I just have to get this. I have to get this. 99% Nomsa hasn't got a clue, but Nomsa has to listen. So man likes to be listened. They like to be appreciated. The power of gratitude. A man does not like to be belittled. Really, really, they don't like it. When you belittle your man, that is destroying the foundation of a relationship. It might last for a long time, but emotionally, that's why you get disconnected. So when a man comes in, they tell you their story, this is who they are, or if you're simply starting to date a guy, the only way that can save your relationship, you have to look at the step. When you start the beginning, when you start dating somebody, that way you pay attention. You the power of gratitude is so powerful, and it brings you closer, closer, closer when you're connected to each other. When you show the person that, you know what, I appreciate you taking time for us to go and dating. That is the bond. That's when the relationship of the foundation begins. But a year later or 6 months later, both parties, they stop appreciating each other because what they were chasing now, they have found it. So now the woman will be like, I don't need to actually to make an effort anymore. So the man now has to try hard to even fight just to have a kiss. He has to try hard. Time to find to actually have time with his girl. Now he has to fight because both parties, they feel we now don't have to make an effort. We found each other. We've been looking for each other. We found each other. So I have this thing where I'm labeled as someone who is in a relationship now, so I don't need to make an effort. So the poor guy feels lonely. He goes and tells his friends and mourn at his friends. Is like, I don't even understand my girl anymore. She doesn't get me. I'm a simple guy, you know. I just sometimes I just wish she can get me. That's what the guys used to mourn at me. But me, I'm so terrible. When they used to mourn at me, they'll come and mourn at me because they tell me the truth. I'll do the same with them as well. And when they come and complain, I'll be like, go and speak to your girl. And in that way, your girl will understand. Or sometimes, guys, I'll find myself, maybe that's why I become a matchmaker. I've been put in the middle. The guy is there, the girl is there. Now they are having a guy at me. And this girl will be like, you have a word with your brother because he does not know how to treat a woman. That's not how you treat a woman. He does not have time for me. So I'm like, oh, okay, okay. But all those things, if it was the things that, like, if the guy hasn't got time, if the girl feels like they don't have time for each other anymore, so they can, those things you can actually discuss it. And then there's this thing that falls under respect and autonomy. So respect is a cornerstone in a relationship, in a healthy relationship. Men value being respected for their opinion, decisions, and personal boundaries. It's very, very crucial when you are in a relationship, to respect their autonomy and to try not to try to control or change them. Some people, they try to change a man. In a healthy relationship is built in a mutual respect and acceptance. So when you meet a guy, get to know their world, the things they like to do, their image, their character, their authenticity, what makes them the person that they are, and don't try to change. Embracing vulnerability with them. Men may hesitate to show vulnerability due to social uh, expectations of masculinity. So, however, allowing a man to be vulnerable with you is very, very important in a safe or a non-judgmental way space. It can lead to more profound emotional connection. So when you're dating a guy, let the guy be vulnerable. Encourage them to actually express their fears. Encourage them to express their insecurities. Encourage them to express their hopes without fear or without criticizing them. When you do that, when you allow a man to express his fears, there are times where sometimes men may worry about raising his children. You'd be like, "Yeah, sometimes I worry if I'm doing the right thing." So as a woman, you just listen and give them the words of encouragement, like how you watch them raising their children, and just give them those encouragement, encourage them to be who they want to become. And sometimes they might express their fears about finances in a relationship. I had a problem during lockdown. Everything changed. The business wasn't making money, but my spouse, because he basically they work in the building industry, so they were working. They didn't stop. His money was coming in, but um because I allow him to express, but that sometimes is not a good idea. So I allow him to express his feelings. And when he expresses his feelings, that his fears about finances, for me, I look at the house. We were living in a big house. So I said to myself, do we really need this big house? And I was like, we have two children. Do we really need to live in this space? So to me, he expressed his fears. So I was like, let's just move out and find a downsize. And everybody agreed, but they agreed, but they were not really agreeing. They didn't want a bigger space, but he was worried. But for me, as a woman, if you bring your worries to me, I have to evaluate things in so many ways. For me, I had to look at his health. If this man, he is worried about pulling through a lockdown, and because we when we have money, if we pay the bills and we still have money into our bank account is still health to us, is rich. But when we pay the bills and there's little money left into the bank account, he calls it poor. So he was like, what if things go on and the lockdown went on and on? So for me, like I had to say, we need to leave. I had to think about his health, because for me, I was okay. I was happy, but then I had to think about his health, that if this guy is worried about the money, he's gonna have a heart attack. And then we're gonna have the good house, we're gonna have this money, and he's not gonna be here with us. So I was like, okay, we're gonna have to go and find a small house. It wasn't a good idea. We ended up being homeless because last minute the person that we were meant to move, we were let down in just last minute. But we ended up living with my father-in-law, which was fine. But he was happy. He was keeping his money in the bank. I was keeping my money. So everything was fine. So when somebody comes to you, there are some people, but when he was telling me his fears, his family thought moving to a small house was never a good idea. He should be a man enough to hold on to his family. But there are times, women, guys, I'm talking to women, there are times where a man can be man enough. We like this idea of a man being a man enough and holding on to pain. So for me, what good does it do when a man is holding into a pain and getting into debt where he can't afford it? So to me, that's not the good idea. That's not how my parents raised me, that you should be man enough and be strong, and that's not how I was raised. I was raised to be able to express your feelings. You express your feelings, and when you express your feelings, you act on whatever, make a decision and sort things out. And so we had to sort things out, but there were people that did not agree with that decision. So the reason why I'm sharing this is for every girl out there, when you are dating a guy, you have to date a guy based on his want and your want. The relationship is between the two people. When the relationship is between the two people, the relationship is able to move forward, is able to move forward, because you both know, like, your spouse will express their fears to you. And when they do express their fears, that's when you get to know each other. So that is really, really important, to make sure that every decision that you do, there is no third person in that relationship, because we intend to, when things are not going well, and then it will go and confide in people, and people will bring confusion and make things worse where it's not necessary. So understand their physically and emotionally intimacy, how it works. Physically, emotionally intimacy often goes hand in hand with emotional intimacy for men. So while physical attraction is essential, it's emotional connection that elevates the experience of intimacy. Communication, when you communicate openly with your spouse, when they communicate about their desires, boundaries, and preferences in the realm of physical affection, to ensure both spouses are satisfied. So there are some men that they will tell you that, I like it when you do this. I like it when you do this. I like it when you cook this. I like it when you do this. Or sometimes they will tell you that when you wear this, oh, I like it when you wear that dress. It's my favorite. Or when you wear, though, if you are somebody who wears jeans, they'll say, I like it when you wear, or that top, I like it when you wear that top. So, but there are some men who likes to control women. There are some men who will tell you that they like what you wear, or I don't like what you wear, because they're jealous and they don't want you to go out and looking stunning if they're not there. But there are some men, so you have to watch the red flags. Red flags is there, so you have to watch anything that has red flags, so you can look out for it. But where there is no red flags, you just have to you just have to go with the flow and just communicate your needs, understand uh, your men's needs, what they desire, and understanding and decoding the male's mind is multifaceted endeavor. So be like, it's actually is when you respect their emotional style. Respecting their emotional style is fostering emotional connection as well. So that is very, very important. By doing so, you can create more meaningful and fulfilling relationship with the men in your life. So how do we understand the emotional needs? Is very, very important to understand your men's emotional needs by recognizing the importance of the needs. emotional needs is very, very important and is very, very essential and is the critical component of how your relationship is able to move forward. It's actually the role of overall well-being when you recognize that, like, you address emotional needs and you nurture those emotional needs and cultivating empathy and active listening. So when you actively listen to their needs, listen to their stories, their feelings that they share with you, and practice active listening, pay close attention to what the person is saying, both verbally and non-verbal communication. Empathetic listening it will help you to tune into their emotions and concern. That is very, very important when you encourage open communication. There are some people in a relationship, but they don't have time for each other. They don't have time for uh, just to listen to each other, create a safe and non-judgmental space for open communication. Let the person know that you are willing to listen and support them. I'm willing to listen to my spouse, but there are times where if the family is involved, where there is gossip, I don't listen to that. I let my spouse know that anything that is involved in criticism or involved in gossip, I rather not know. So in that way, I don't get involved in where there is gossip or where there is criticism. I don't get involved in that. So in that part, my spouse knows. Um, there are times where there are times where like so I'm gonna tell you a story. What happened was it last week? Last week, yeah, my daughter went to school, my youngest, and then she goes to school with somebody that knows the family. I think she was playing. When she was playing, something happened, and somebody that knows the family went into the family. I don't know the story. And then the story came back to me, and with my spouse came back with a story and said the family, somebody made a complaint to them. Before that person made a complaint, so her teacher called me and she was like, because my daughter just been there since September, she was like, she's so amazing. Your daughter, she's amazing. She gets involved in everything, learning and everything. So her confidence is grown and she's amazing. So I was like, oh, thank you. So when I got home, her dad goes, okay, the family have somebody has made a complaint and they're saying they're gonna call the social services. So I'm like, what are they calling the social services for? And he was like, somebody came across it with, I was like, oh, I know the story she told me. She came home and then she just went straight into the shower. I don't know what happened. And she said, Mommy, I was dirty, but I had to go to the shower. She was showering. I was like, you never come home and go to the shower. So the person didn't know the story. And she was like, I went to uh I was playing, but before when I was playing, I just took time. But when I got into the toilet, I wanted to do a wee wee, but it was already too late. So I was like, what does that mean? She was like, means next time if I want to go for wee wee, not to carry it away playing, I just need to go to the toilet. I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. So somebody must have came across with my daughter. I don't know, before when she was coming out. Apparently somebody went to the family and said, your brother's daughter came across with her. She was smelling. She doesn't, maybe your mom is not looking after her. We need to call social service. So it was a big thing. But when it came to me, I said to my spouse, listen, I've got things to do. Really, really things to do. And he was like, Noms, are you taking me serious? I was, yes, yes, I'm taking you serious. I have really things to do. If somebody feels that they need to call social service, let them call social services. And then the social services, they will then come to my house. And when they come to my house, or they will go to school and assess the situation. Once they assess the situation, they will come to my house. And I said, that's the only thing that I can listen. And I said to him, next time, tell your family not to get involved in things like that. Because when you allow, the minute you allow somebody to come and gossip, or whenever, if there is a problem, for me, what I believe is, if there is a problem, if somebody has spotted a problem in a relationship, they're not going to have time to go and gossip with somebody. They're just going to make a phone call straight away. That's what I believe. So I said to him, you know your child, you know the lifestyle that your child is living. So we're not going to get there. So when he was trying to convince, I was like, I don't want to hear it. You need to tell them to call social services direct. And I said to him, oh, you know what does the gossip do into relationship? As a gossip tears a relationship apart. And also this is for men as well, guys, those who are dating, like, please, whenever you have a problem with your guy, don't go and tell your friends about that problem. Because when you tell a friend about the problem, they'll make things worse. Where there is no problem, that becomes a problem. So what you need to do, if you are having a problem, speak to your spouse. That is the only way. If you don't speak to your spouse, find a family member that you really, really trust, or find a friend that you know that is not going to, is going to speak the truth, is going to guide you through life. But if you have a friend that when you go and confide in them, they just going to tell you your spouse is wrong, the minute that judgment has been put in place, that tears the family apart. So I was explaining to my spouse, I was like, I was raised like this. My grandmother used to tell me that, Nomsa, when you hear something, don't repeat it. The gossip destroys the family. It tears the relationships apart. So I was like to my spouse, you come and tell me when there is a problem between me and you, or the kids come and tell me when there's a real problem. And I also had to tell the family off that they're listening to people. So for me, that's how I was raised. And everybody else says, Nomsa, you don't take things serious. I was like, I do take things very, very serious. But there are procedures and regulations where when things have done properly, they get done properly. And I was like, I don't have to worry about that. So that's how I left. So those kind of things where involve gossip, guys. When I say listen to your guy, get to know your guy, please don't get involved in the gossip. Or if there is a relationship with people who are gossiping, don't get involved in it, or don't crucify your spouse based on the gossip. Or somebody comes and tell you what they think they know about your spouse, don't listen to it. It's very, 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 very important, because it tears the relationship apart. So that part is very, very important. To make sure that you encourage open communication, but let your spouse ask questions. When you ask questions, you are gaining a deeper understanding about someone's emotional needs, and encourage your spouse to share about their feelings, their experiences, open-ended questions such as, how are you feeling about this situation? Can you tell me more about what has been bothering you? Just prompt something to create a meaningful relationship. Identify the patterns and triggers in that relationship, validate their emotions, offer support and comfort if it's needed, collaborate on solution, adjust and adapt. Practice self-care is very, very important. And active listening, I've mentioned that, verbal and non-verbal communication, and clear and concise expression, And I statement, use I statement. It's very, very important. Avoid assumptions. Never, never assume. When you are in a relationship, assume, assumption. It destroys the relationship. Don't assume the other person knows what you mean or how you feel. Clearly articulate your thoughts and emotions. Encourage the other part to ask questions and seek clarification if necessary. It's very, very important. Empathetic response. The other person is feeling, how they are feeling is very, very important. And like your response as well is very, very important. Paraphrasing and summarizing is very, very important when you talk to somebody, and stay calm and respectful. It's very, very important. Avoid raising your voice or resorting to disrespectful language, as it can hinder effective communication. Never disrespect somebody. Be open to feedback. It's very, very important. Practice patience and seek resolution if it's needed. Follow up if it's needed. Reflect and improve. Practice, 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 and practice. And now understanding quality time and personal space. Define quality time. And the moment you spend with someone, the meaningful times that you spend, it has to be joyful and fulfilling. It's not just about quantity. It's about the depth of connection during those moments. Quality time often involves individuals' attention, shared experiences, and genuine emotional connection. Understand this personal space. Give your man a personal space. And personal space refers to the physical and emotional boundaries individuals need to maintain their autonomy, well-being, and well-being is very, very important for them to be alone, unwind, and recharge without external pressure or instruction. So when somebody wants a personal space, give them that space. When somebody wants, they want to recharge, give them that space. Don't have to be there all the time with them. Understand that people have varying preferences for both quality time and personal space. So when you get to know you, when you get to know your men and ask them to open up, you will get to know them. And that's why you see when you ask some people, they've been married for like, if you meet somebody who's been married for maybe 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, there are some people who've been married for that long because they can't be bothered to go and look for other spouse. They're not happy, miserable. But there are some people who are in a relationship, but they deep love each other. Emotionally, they are there for each other, and also being patient. The woman you have to be patient and be tolerant when it comes to men, when it comes to all these things. There are some things like sometimes when a man, sometimes they will leave socks maybe on the floor, or maybe they will leave the toilet seat up. Instead of mourning of all those things, just put the toilet seat. There are some things that you don't have to overlook, but put the toilet seat. And when you're all laughing and have a joke and say, can somebody here put the toilet seat when they finish using the toilet? Or there's some things that you don't have to make your men feel like they're nothing. It may be sometimes there are things that they do wrong. Don't remind them of the things that they do wrong. It's not right. Be present. Being present, living in the present moment is very, very important in a relationship. Put away distractions like phones, work-related thoughts. Show genuine interest in the other person and actively engage in the activities or the conversation there. And we've mentioned the personal space, set boundaries. A relationship has to have boundaries. Relationship without boundaries, it hasn't got a good foundation. So set boundaries, discuss and establish boundaries for personal space. And these boundaries might include specific times and places where each other can have alone time without interrupting. Having clear boundaries ensures that the other person's space needs are met without causing misunderstandings. So that is very, very important. Like myself, I need my space. I need my space to communicate with God. So if I need my space, my children know that if I go into a quiet place, I don't need to be disturbed, although they disturb me. Or their dad sometimes disturb me as well. But that is understandable because because I'm always there. I'm always asking questions. So if I disappear more than 30 minutes, some people start wondering, where is she? So they'll come and look for me. And then they find me and praying sometimes, and then they disturb me. So have boundaries. And when you have boundaries, like myself, I know my time, I need to be I need to have my space, like I said, to pray. He needs to have his space to do his own things, and also have time with your own friends as well, without being with your spouse. Just because you're in a relationship, it does not mean that your world has to stop. You still have to have your own world where you go and do your own thing, because if you rely on your spouse, that's why you find that when people are in a relationship, the day that relationship ends, that's the end of them as well, because they give up everything they've ever known to be in a relationship. You don't have to do that. A relationship is you rearrange things, and it's just more about balancing flexibility, in knowing each other's world. And when you know your each other's world, and you keep that word, there are things that I did when I was single, but some of those things that I wouldn't be able to do them when I'm in a relationship. So it's all about understanding your uniqueness, your character, understanding the character of somebody who is in a relationship, what is required. That character is just very, very simple. But some people, they complicate things. They start putting rules in a relationship. A relationship with rules, if you put principles, your relationship will succeed. But if you put rules, sometimes it might not survive, because the rules, it means uh, you are just ego, and telling somebody that I just want to do things this way. But if you put principles where a man knows, and then they knows their space, and they know their woman, that it helps. Like if they go out, they know that my woman will not tolerate this, my woman will not tolerate this, or they understand, not my woman, I'm in a relationship. They will think about the character. What is expected for me as a man? I'm in a long-term relationship. What is expected? How do I treat my spouse? So those are the things that will come into their head, but you don't want them to think about you as a control freak. So you don't want them to think that. So that's why we don't control, we don't try to change people in a relationship, because one person, one norms, I think is enough in a relationship. So if we have plenty of norms, that's no good. So regular check-in, practice empathy, prioritize self-care, be patient and understanding. And now the power of connection. The power of connection is very, very important, guys. You have to understand that affection refers to expressing of love and fondness. through physically gestures, words, act of kindness, understand their love language, hugging, kissing, holding hands, simple saying, I love you and I appreciate you. Intimacy, emotional closeness, vulnerability, and deep connection. And it goes beyond the physical touch, including sharing thoughts, feelings, desires in someone and on a profoundly way level. Recognize the importance. Understand both affection and communication. Love language is very, very important to understand somebody love language, share experiences, show physical affection, communication desires. I did make a video before explaining that when somebody takes time to show affection to that person, to their spouse, how much they appreciate them, it actually is a very, very powerful thing than somebody who is showing appreciation by having sex 7 days a week. Because some people, they have sex for different reasons. They have sex because they're stressed at work and they want to, apparently sex is a therapy. So when you have sex for therapy, it doesn't work. That's no connection. And that's why you find some people, they are having sex 7 days a week, but the relationship is still break down. So you need to connect with your spouse by entering the world, their world, like Tony Robbins say, enter their world. It means they enter the spirit of love. Let your connection be strong in the physically and in the realm of the spirit. That bond, it comes with God, the power of God, the communication. Pray for your marriage. My Christian ladies, you know, when I say pray for your marriage, I mean pray for your marriage. There is one thing that Lucifer hates. He hates good marriages. He cannot stand a man and a woman who are in a beautiful relationship. So if you are a Christian, make sure you know that you have to pray for your marriage to stand. You have to cover your marriage, your children with the blood of Jesus. Cover your marriage with the blood of Jesus. Pray for your children, cover your children with the blood of Jesus. So if you are a Christian person and you say, you know what, no matter how hard I pray, I still having problems, big problems. The problem is Lucifer hates. He cannot stand people who are in a relationship and they're happy. The reason why I'm sharing this is because I had a showdown with the guy, with the angel, and his agents. So I've had a showdown with him. I know what he doesn't like. He cannot stand marriages. He cannot stand musician where he hasn't got control. That's why you see most of musicians, they join the occult. He cannot stand not being in control. So if you are in a relationship and you are a Christian, make sure you pray for your marriage. And if you don't believe me, you can go on YouTube, type people who have worked for Lucifer and the angel, fallen angel, who have worked with him when they are confessing. There's lots of YouTube videos, people who have worked for Lucifer for years. They will tell you how he works. He will instruct people. They join him. He will instruct him to go and destroy marriages. And mostly, he attacks the mind. And that's why when you get married, like men, they enter a relationship. He hates women, but he loves men. Hates them with the hatred. He hates women. So if you are a woman and you enter a relationship, you are like, but I pray every single day. My relationship, why is my relationship not working? Lucifer hates a relationship that has a good foundation. He hates a woman that looks after a man. So you cover your marriage, your relationship with the blood of Jesus. You cover your children with the blood of Jesus. In that way, he can try to destroy, but he wouldn't succeed. Mostly in Europe, he destroys relationship. And when you hear people saying, I've joined a cult in your area, or musicians that live in your area saying, people don't join a cult just to have fun. They join a cult to destroy good people. A cult means you join a cult, you have to destroy marriages. There's a guy, he's Italian. I can't remember his name. He's Italian pastor. He's a pastor now. But he says when he used to work for Lucifer, Lucifer would give them instruction in the second heaven and say, attack maybe United Kingdom. When he says attack marriages in United Kingdom, he will give them a city. Like if it's London, he will give them London, destroy. And they will do it. And that's why you see people, they will, marriages don't work, or sometimes the relationship is going well and the woman or man, they're gonna go woo. And that's how they attack. Or sometimes if he says attack any country in Africa, marriages, he will do it. So this guy is a white guy that confesses how he works. And when I actually watch his video, I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah, that is the truth. So if you are in a relationship, make sure that you have some ritual to protect your relationship. But that's why you'll find people get married, they have everything, and then they are left with nothing. Divorce leaves them with hatred. They hate each other. They cannot stand each other. And the more you go to the lawyers, the more money. By the time you finish that divorce, you will have nothing. So that's why he does. We had a showdown. And when we had a showdown, he showed me what he does. He said, I like you, you're bonkers. I knew you never, I refused to join him anyway. But he said, I like you. You're very, very bonkers. Because when I was telling my friends, they were having problems. So a simple thing. When Lucifer attacks the city, the marriages, you see the pattern where people they start having problems. The only way to solve that problem is to zip it. When your husband maybe it behaves different, zip it. But the more you speak, the more they do more harm. Speak because he wants entertainment. To him, fighting is an entertainment. For those who don't know how it works, fighting is an entertainment. So that's why sometimes the musicians or celebrities or non-celebrities, people join him and then he humiliates. Maybe when you join the occult, the other thing that is a must to do, you have to take drugs. You have to have lots of sex, meaning you have to have an affair. It does not like people that are genuine. So those are the character that you have to be. But at the same time, he will come and humiliate that musician with the drugs to the public for them to see that that person takes drugs. They've joined him. He doesn't care. And now will be the time for humiliation. And these celebrities, sometimes he tells them, he doesn't lie how it works, but because of fame and because of money, people say yes. To me, he said no. But the reason when he asked me to join him, I said no. The reason why I said no, for me, if you tell me, because I was raised in Africa, And moving to United Kingdom, my life has not been just easy like that. So when he was telling me that he would do this for me, and I had to ask, what do I get to do? What is in it for me when you do all these beautiful things? You make me famous, I become a millionaire just like that. What is in for you? So you have to ask yourself that. So the reason why I'm sharing this is there are some Christians that are ignorant. They say, I'm a Christian, but they don't know how to use the Bible as a weapon to actually, for their marriage to stand. They'll tell you that I'm a Christian, but being a Christian, they have relation problems with marriages, but they don't know how to actually fight for their marriages. So those are the things that you have to know, that if you say you are a Christian, it means you're creating an enemy. And when you create an enemy, you have to know how to use the weapons to fight. Lucifer loves men. He loves men because he knows when a man leaves a woman, or when he destroys a relationship, they'll go and be doomed. He can doom them. Men, they are easy to be doomed, going to the place of depression. Just like that. A relationship can turn a wonderful, clever man, wealthy man to nothing when the relationship ends. So he knows he can just do that. So you have to know the power of the physical realm and the spiritual realm. And when you know that power, it means that the connection with your spouse emotionally, when you are connected in the physical realm and in the spirit realm, that means between the two people, there is an agreement that has been made that this relationship is beautiful. And when the relationship is beautiful, when there is no disconnection, you cannot, whenever there is a disconnection, emotionally disconnection in a relationship, that's why a relationship, they say when you fight and forgive each other. If you don't forgive each other, there becomes a disconnection. The emotions cannot be linked together because there is unforgiveness between these two links world. So this world has to forgive this world. This world has to forgive this one. And then there's an agreement. Fight with grace. A relationship is not just beauty all the time, or going out having fun. Is the times where you would disagree, but at the same time forgive each other is very, very, very important. And also women, those who have some talking problems, please do not fight your husband for no reason. Fight when it's necessary. When it's not necessary, zip it. When I'm saying zip it, there are times where you need to speak. There are times where you need to go to prayer. If you are a Christian, go to prayer with God. I'm a Christian. I can tell you sometimes my spouse annoys me, but I ain't gonna go without a weapon and approach him. I just go to God and pray first. And when sometimes I find when I pray, the minute I'm thinking I need to solve the problem, God has already solved the problem for me. Because I know that when I'm a Christian, I know that I have an enemy, which is Lucifer. If I hadn't had a showdown with Lucifer, guys, I wouldn't have known what he does, because everything that I'm telling you is the experience that I have gone through. Experience that I've gone through. I met a guy, fall in love with the guy because I refused to join him. He took that guy just like that, just to show me that this is who I am, this is what I can do, and his agent. So when you are in a relationship, understanding a guy means, when you are a Christian, it means you pray for your marriage. You do not fight your husband all the time, or your spouse. And also be patient. Seek professional help if it's needed. Celebrate the milestone in that relationship. Understand the importance of your milestone and be non-judgmental. And some things, know that some things you have control over, but some things you don't. And self-reflection and reflect on who you're becoming in that relationship. We mentioned boundaries. There's so many things. Be reliable to your spouse. Men like women who are reliable. And also have your man's back, have his back. Whenever there is a fight or whenever family, always have your man's back. Always. Don't sell them out for some piece of gold. Lead by an example in that relationship. And be specific when you communicate, showing appreciation, be specific, be sincere with your men, and positive language. Even if you're fighting, don't remind them what they didn't do, what they things they do wrong, what they don't do right. Don't remind them that, because there's some things that no one is perfect anyway. That's how simple I can put it. No one is perfect. And also uh, encourage your spouse to get out there and be who they want, who God has created them to become. Follow up, be mindful of culture differences. I'm dating an English guy. So dating an English guy, our cultures are different, really, really different. So got to understand the thing that I had to do for me, I had to learn English culture. I do understand how English people think, they work, and then my culture. So their culture is different. So I cannot expect what I do sometimes for my spouse to do it. I cannot expect that. There's some things that you can see things that we do different. So the difference between that with us, it makes our relationship exciting. Don't try to change anybody. Don't try to change anyone. I've seen people trying to, like, sometimes I'm from Africa. There are some things like in Africa we are raised we value relationship a lot than material. So I find that sometimes when I have time for somebody to do something and people will be questioning me, why do you do that? Or why do you have time? Do you always have time for people? Sometimes to them, sometimes they don't have time for no one. Sometimes they don't have even time for their own family. But for me, I always have time for my family, for my blood and his blood. If anybody in his family, they're crying out, they need my help, I'll always there as long my help is allowed. But at the same time, I have to say the culture differences and stuff. So be aware of that, of the culture differences is very, very important. And to build a strong relationship, motivate and focus, align your values with their values, make sure that your values and his values are aligned with each other. Personal growth, communicate commitment and loyalty, long-term vision, have a vision. Men like women who has visions. I asked my stepdad died and my daddy died. I was like, why did you marry my mom? She was like, I married her. Your mom, she's smart. She has a vision. She's independent. She knows what a man want. My mom married my stepdad. My stepdad comes from a wealthy family. They were very, very, very wealthy people. But we had people working in the house, maids and everything. But my mom will never ever, or my stepdad will never eat a food cooked by a maid. He always wanted his wife to cook for him because she married her, my mom, she did not marry a chef, or she did not marry her. So my mom to cook his food. So my mom understood. Her husband is wants, desires. So she understood, and she will be there for him when he needs her. Money didn't matter, that they have money, it didn't matter, but they have values and principles that they lived by. They had an agreement when they got married that, okay, God has blessed us with this beautiful life, but at the same time, my needs are, you are my, as my woman, you cook for me. I do not like eating food cooked by other people. And my mom agreed. So it meant that when my mom is at home, my mom has to cook for my stepdad. If she's away, we know she's away, she cannot be in two places. So my stepdaddy will cook, or we will cook food, or the person that is in the house, the working, they'll cook the food. And then my stepdad will come and clean the house. We'll clean the house, and then he'll come in and mess the house. Apparently, he's cleaning by mopping things with the thing. So there was this agreement that they have made. And go to my dad as well and asked my dad and my stepmom. My dad would tell me the same thing. I married your stepmom because she's smart. My stepmom was a good cook. If you go 2 miles, you feel the smell of the food. 2 miles away or 1 mile, let's say 1 mile makes sense. You smell the food that she's cooking. That's how good she was. She's dead now. So those are the things that when you enter a relationship, your spouse get to know you. As a woman, your man will get to know you, and you get to know your man, why he wants, why he likes, and all those things. You get to know them. No one can come and tell you that. So you get to know that person. Make sure that the relationship is for two people. Third person, separate a relationship. So those are the things that you need to know when you're in a relationship with men. Men like simple things. When they're marrying somebody, they are making a decision. When a man will never marry somebody they don't want to be with. But some men, not every man, some men makes mistakes. They marry somebody because they want to get married, or both of them, the man is not good enough for the woman, or the woman is not good enough for the man, but they go ahead anyway. They marry each other. They spend thousands and thousands of pounds. They're left in debt, and then after that, they have to pay debt, and everybody else who came to eat their food, they are gone. So I always say to myself, if I was to get married, I will not invite more than 200 people. My mom comes from a big family. My dad comes from a big family. So maybe 200 or 300 people, my wedding, that will be enough, because it means I know everybody in that wedding, my friends, my cousins, my family, my aunties and my uncles, I'll know them. But when it comes to inviting people for the sake of showing off, left with a big bill, to me, it does not work like that. You have to, even if it means go to the registry, just the two of you to get married, as long as you are left with no debt, to me, it makes sense. It's still a marriage. It's intimacy. It's even better, because that marriage, you cannot forget it. You can remember the small things until you die. So to me, that is so beautiful. However you want to get married, make sure women, when you don't have money, don't use this thing all about me, 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 me. I got to look like a princess. I got to look like this. I got to look like this. The more you please people getting married, the more you're left with debt. And then after debt, the marriage is destroyed when you get married. So you want to get married. You want to be me, 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 be like a princess. Your husband treats you like a princess, but the right way. Many loves that. A woman's job is to put the family together, meaning you evaluate things and you do the things. And if your wedding does not allow to be a princess because of finances, you've got two choices. Go to the registry, get married so you don't have debt. And the other choice is to wait until you can afford it. to pay for that wedding. Don't go extra mile to get into debt. And then by the time you get married, you'll be worried about finances, having sleepless night. No point. Instead of having a sleepless night, have enjoyment times together. To me, that makes sense. That makes sense. And what are the other thing? Identify the roots of the cause if there is a problem. Avoid blame. Men don't like women that are blaming, and also know that the relationship is not about winning the argument. When you argue in a relationship, it's not about you winning the fight, they win the fight. No. I don't blame anyone when there is a relationship. I just go to God. I pray. If I have to pray for 8 hours, asking God to restore my relationship to where I needed to be, I will do it. If I have to do it, I will do it instead of going, ooh, 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 ooh. So I will do it. If I have to pray for God, please restore my marriage. Oh God, arise, oh God, arise. Let my marriage be restored. My relationship restored. And that way, God will restore my marriage. I'm happy. Instead of me blaming my spouse. And also the difference is people do change. The more we grow, the more we change. And don't try to change each other. So I think that's enough for today, guys. I'm gonna have to go. Seek, pray. Those who don't pray, meditate. Agree, action steps, forgive and let it go. Learn to grow with each other, communicate with each other, and keep romance alive. Maintain and maintain and maintain and maintain appearance. Please, maintain your appearance is very, very important. Just because you are in a relationship, it does not mean that you have to let yourself go. Keep your appearance up. Go for walks. Go to the gym. It's very, very important. Dress up for yourself. Dress up for yourself so your spouse, when they go out, they get confused and then they come home. You don't have to say, oh, I'm in a relationship. I'm no longer having to worry about my appearance. Keep your appearance. It doesn't cost a lot of money. And buy clothes. Sometimes clothes don't cost loads of money. They cost loads of money if you want to. You can register to, I register to any, the shops that I like, I register there. When they have a special offer, they send me a message. They'll send me an email. And there is this website. What is it called? Can I get the website? The app. There's an app. I'm not sure if I can find it. I've forgotten its name. So this app, what it does, what is this app? I think I've removed it from my phone, but I've got it on my computer. So this app, what it does, let's say if something is £100, it will give you 30%. If something is whatever price, but you get a good price if you buy, let's say if you buy clothes, like if you buy a dress for £80, you get a good discount. £100, you get a good discount. That app will scan on your computer. Once you buy, what you do is you download the app on your computer. And when you download the app on your computer, it stays there. You don't do anything. And what it does is if you're going to buy like clothes, let's say a well-known brand, SOS. So you go and click the dress that you like. And then when you press checkout, if the dress is 150 or 200, You will search for the prices and maybe you even get like 150. You will take maybe even sometimes at 70% or 30% or 20%, depending with the price of the clothes. So that is the app that I use, and I love clothes. And when I go out, people always say, Noms, I love the way you dress. I'm like, please don't go and buy clothes because I don't spend loads of money on clothes, but I love them. And I wear glamorous clothes, but I don't spend lots of money on the clothes. So keep your appearance and shop well. Don't get into debt. I don't get into debt when it comes with clothes. When it comes to clothes, I will just click. If I feel like buying, I'll just click and my app will do the work. It does with everything. With marketing, the company that I use for marketing, when I'm paying, it doesn't give me vouchers. But some companies, it does with everything. So it will give you a discount with everything. There are some companies that don't accept this app for the vouchers, but most of them, like 90%, you'll get a good discount. So when I have this app, if I know the name, when I see the name, I will actually, it's called Carpet something. What is it called? Yeah, it's called Carpet something. It's in the, let me see, on the like for women. Let me see on the Play Store what it's called. I removed it on my phone. Carpet. Da, 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 okay, what is it called? Da, I'll find it. I've stored it on my computer. It does work. Sometimes if I'm going out, I don't wear the same dress anyway, by the way, for those reasons, because of the app. So when I'm going out on a special occasion, if I click, it will just give me the discount that I need. Any website, or red dress, or my daughter was going to a wedding, she wanted a dress, she ended up buying two dresses, and you just click on that. You don't touch the app. You click whatever, you do your purchase as normal. But when you go to the cash out where you pay, you have to stop because the app will then appear and go, like in the lottery, what it does, it will go round and round and round and scan, and then it'll give you the discount. You just have to copy that code and put it where you buy it. So keep your appearance. I don't know if it works other countries, but I'm in United Kingdom. So those one in United Kingdom, I'll put the app's name once I find it. I find the name when I'm off now. So God bless everyone and live with grace. If you want to connect with me, I'm on all my social media. And you can also connect with me through my website and or email. My website, there is an office number there. So however, if you need coaching, or if you are single looking for love, please do. I'm a matchmaker for men. Alina, she's a matchmaker for women. So once you put application through, and then it will look at your application and get in touch with you. So God bless everyone and live with grace.